Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have a showcase around the newly EZA'd Hacchan and 17 unit. I'm looking at their EZA details now because I haven't actually seen them yet, and they're looking pretty good. This is probably going to be the kind of bog standard lineup we go for with these guys, which will be with the 14 and 15. It's 14 and 15, right? Yeah, 14 and 15. Moving a bit slow today. And to be fair, this is probably the best kind of link set you're going to have, or the best chance of getting the majority of their links active from their link set. And we can get solid support active with Android 16 as well. That's pretty much why I brought him with us. But without him linked up, or without them linked up with 16, they are starting with 128k attack stat, 113k defense. Of course, for the first 8 turns, they are going to have guaranteed guard. So that's not too bad to go with the guard as well, while getting attack and defense plus 125% at the start of turn, and getting an additional attack and defense plus 80% on top of that as well. So if we put him up with Android 16, we got to 142k attacks. That way we have solid support active, which I'm pretty sure should be giving us, or giving them, an extra attack plus 10%, right? Yeah, an extra attack plus 10%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 14 and 15 this orb here. Hopefully they don't get an additional. I'm going to give these two all of that, and then 16 can float off. So yeah, their EZA is looking really nice. They've gone from, 17% chance to crit. Of course they would get an additional. Is it going to do enough damage? It probably will, right? Type advantage and all. Oh, okay, just about. Okay, what are they putting out? 1.2 mil. I'm not gonna lie, that's not great. I mean, this unit was never an offensive focused unit. It was never a unit that's like, oh my god, look at the 4 million attack stat and above on a free-to-play unit. No, obviously they're more defensively focused. They will get damage reduction by 25% when your HP is 80% or less, along with, of course, the 25% crit chance as well. The guard for 8 turns. That's the important side of them, and of course high chance to stun now as well, which is very good. But still, a 1.2 million attack stat, and that's with one of their attack links active. It's not great, is it? It's not great. I mean, they can't even have the benefit of going on a 200% lead because they don't have one. They still only have 2 categories in the game. A year later, literally, they received their EZA about a whole year later, and they still only have 2 categories, which is androids and joined forces. And the only current android lead, which will give you 170, or at least I'm pretty sure the only one there is, or it's the only one I have, but I'm pretty sure it's the only one there is of course Android 13, who of course he himself really does need an EZA as well, because he has grown, or not grown, aged a hell of a lot. But yeah, in terms of actual damage output, in terms of what you're seeing on Super, it's probably not going to really get much better. I mean, yes, you can have support, which of course Android category teams have a plethora of. A lot of the units that have dropped recently, the support unit specifically, Android 13 as a leader himself. There are a lot of units on an Android's category team that support. A lot of the units just have some form of support built into their passive. So that definitely does help them pick up their offensive numbers just a little bit, and the extra defense you're definitely not going to turn your nose up at. But as I said, it's not really going to get much better than that. You get the attack defense plus 125% at the start of turn, which you've already got. You have the attack and defense plus 80%, which they've already got and we've seen. The only difference is we're going to get that extra additional attack and defense plus 80% after we receive an attack for 8 turns. So we haven't actually got it yet, because I'm pretty sure we moved on to the next phase before Vegeta could attack them. And we was, what, 2 mil? Maybe just over 1 mil? It's not going to get much better. It's not going to get much better. Not to mention, that was one of their only not support links. That's one of their only links that offer attack that was active with Android 16. All of their links pretty much all offer, they're all defensive links, which again, this is more of a defensive focused unit, so it's not something I would really have a qualm with. But definitely do not expect these guys to be dealing hardly any damage whatsoever, including their links. As I said, the only attacking links they have are solid support, which that EZA 16 has, and Infire, which I'm pretty sure there is no Android category unit that has Infire with them. So as a link set, I'll be honest, it's not the best in terms of versatility. All the defensive links are great. Cold Judgment, it's easy to get Android Assault active on, an Android category team. But in terms of an actual link set, when you look at the individual links, you know, Android Assault, Infire, Tough as Nails, Cold Judgment, Solid Support, Courage, Shattering Limit, while there's some great defensive units, defensive links, sorry, in there, and not many attacking links you can get active on this category, which is the downside. As an actual set on a category they go on, especially because they're also a super unit, not an extreme unit, which, of course, the Androids category are filled with extreme units, it really doesn't help them because it means they don't really link that well with the majority of the units you're going to be using on this category, typically, which is a shame because defensively they're actually a pretty good unit. So we do have some support from Giro and 19 right now, which has given us, what, an extra attack and defense plus 40%. They're up to 196 pre-super, 174 with the defense as well. We're also below 8% HP, which means we have a 25% chance to crit, on top of the fact they are rainbowed out and can get an additional and crit, etc. as well. And of course, we have that 25% damage reduction, and we're still within the 8-turn limit, or kind of threshold, to be getting that guard still active as well. So 1.7 mil with some support. Yeah, it's not great, especially because they raise attack on super as well for 1 turn, which is by 30%. But I mean, that's a natural sight you're going to see if you do use them in like harder content like Super Battle Road. They're going to be defending really well. For Super Battle Road, they're actually a very, very useful unit for that, even with it upscaling nowadays. The only problem is you're probably going to have far better options in terms of synergy with links. Like I said, because they're a super unit or a super type unit, and the links they have aren't the best to go with literally the majority, if not all of the other Androids category units that you could be using, that's a huge detriment to them. But I mean, as a unit that you could probably just float just to soak up some damage, you know, kind of to just be a good tank along with your main rotations, they're actually not a bad shout. As I said, they could work really, really well in Super Battle Road as a floater, just to sit there and take damage, even if you don't get super attacks off with them. You know, even if you don't get super attacks off with them, it's actually not that big of a deal because you're going to have guard for 8 turns, which is past the usual rate that you're going to actually be within a Super Battle Road fight for. As I always say, you should be in there for about 5-6 turns max. By the time your guard's up, you should be done and going into the next one, so you're never going to run out of their guard. Not to mention, because of how upscaled ESPR is nowadays and how much damage it can do, getting your HP at 80% or less and maintaining that with 4 items, which of course you get 2 of each of, and then we've ended up dying there, which is actually quite funny, but you know, it's actually not that big of a deal because there's not really much else to show about this unit. You know, you're then going to have your damage reduction pretty much always active, and it's, as I said, it's relatively easy to maintain, along with having your guard always active during Super Battle Road, which means they're going to tank really, really well. And as I said, because your best bet is running them as a floater just to soak up all the extra damage and attacks that could be coming in slot 3, where there's about 4 or 5 enemies that's hacking, you kind of don't have to really worry about them getting key or any super attacks off. I mean, it's a good EZA. It's a very, very good EZA defensively. However, offensively, yeah, the super attack numbers aren't really there. They're not really there. And I know we didn't get to see the extra additional attack and defense plus 80%. However, it's not going to make that much of a difference. I mean, even with support, you're talking like just over 2 mil, which, yeah, that's not very good, is it? It's not very good. So, you know, yeah, as I said, in terms of a defensive EZA, they're very, very good. They're going to be amazing for ESPR, especially if you're missing some of the units. This is going to be a great alternative. As a link set, defensively also pretty good. However, as a link set on a highly influenced extreme based category team like Androids, because you're not going to run them on joined forces, yeah, it's not easy to link them. But however, to just bring them to soak up damage in slot 3, they are very, very good at that. And of course, they have the 50% chance to stun as well, which of course is very handy for ESPR. But do let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace.